Whoop whoop. It's Sunday evening. Sunday evening at 5, live at 5. Live at 5. This is what we're here for. Live at 5. Got to get me a little ditty that goes along with my live at 5. I used to have a little ditty that went with my something at 2. Oh, 2 o'clock live. I used to do that. But now I got live at 5. I just go with live at 5. Maybe I should just stick with that. That's what came to me first. Maybe I should just stick with that. Leave it there. No need to get all fancy dancy when what you got works. No reason to try to go do nothing fancy. I sure hope you all had a good weekend, right? I hope you had some time away from your screens. I know when we are, traders, we spend a good little time on our charts. Yeah, Ward, you're definitely here first. We spend a good little time on our charts during the week and looking at screens during the week. And I know on the weekends, it's really hard to get away from your screens on the weekends too, because we're still studying. Maybe you're looking back at things to see, how did things go for the week? You're prepping yourself for the week to come. But I will encourage you to always take a little bit of time on the weekend to to take a little bit of time away from the screens, go out to the sun, spend some time with your family, go to church or go to some kind of worship service, something that you're going to do, maybe go work in the yard, for those of you who have, household duties to do, go work in the yard, go do some household duties, go do the yard work and wash the car or go to a birthday party or something. I mean, go do something, right? Always go do a little something with yourself so you won't feel like you're just staying in front of the screens all the time. I know I spend a lot of time in front of my screens, whether that's my computer screens like here, or I'm on my phone screens or my tablet screens. It's just a lot. And I feel like, if I don't have my screens, like something's missing. And that's not what we want. That's not what we want. Hey, Jose. Hey, Miss Deborah. How you doing? Hello. So yeah, let's get into our 5 o'clock live. I'm a little early today. I wanted to give the platforms a chance to let the people know that we're here. Let the folks know that we're starting our 5 o'clock live today. Starting our 5 o'clock live. Yeah, y'all tell me in the comments. First of all, I'm gonna go ahead and say, if you've got some questions you want to ask, put them in the comments. I'll do a little Q&A. If we got some questions, put them in the comments. I actually had a little Q&A on social media over the weekend. I listed out my trades for Friday and left it open for questions if people had questions. So if you've got some questions you want me to answer, then go ahead and put them in the comments. Hey Val, put them in the comments and I'll try to answer some of them along the way. Yep, it's Sunday. It is Sunday. I had a pretty good weekend. What did I do this weekend? I was out and about on Friday, made some decent little money. Y'all know with my folks who are my membership know I had to work through my physical trainer issue. But we did. I went to a conference this weekend. I went to a conference at my church. It was called the Freedom Conference. I even got my bracelet on, my Freedom bracelet. Can y'all see that? Yes. But on my Freedom bracelet, it was Friday night. There it goes, Friday night and Saturday, half a day on Saturday. And the Freedom Conference, it gets in deep. It deals with the things that are going on with you from a spiritual standpoint. And oh my goodness, by the time I got done on Saturday, I was whipped. I came home last night and was like, I was whipped. My spirit was tired. My soul had been through it and I needed a rest. So I got up this morning. Actually, I had to go back to church this morning because one of the girls in our Freedom group was getting baptized. So I went back to church this morning. And it was good because Freedom was the conference and I went to the church service today. Then I had some other things to do. And then I came home and rested my nerves, as I always tell my son to do with my daughter, to rest their nerves. So I came in and rested my nerves a little bit. And here I am hanging out with y'all this afternoon. All right. Looking at now, getting ready for the market to open tomorrow. Let's see if we can pull some of this out the market. We don't have to pull it out the mud. We can pull it out the market, right? How about we do that? How about we do that? How about we do that? Okay, we're gonna pull it out the market. We don't have to pull it out the mud. Alrighty, let's get going on what we got for our screens. I'm gonna start over here. Let's just start where we are. Let's go ahead and start where we are. No need to pull it out the mud. We're gonna pull it out the market. Hey, Aritra, how are we? Hey, Janae, happy Sunday. Toot toot. Every time I get this all set up to be nice and ready, it's still don't be ready. Okay, so IMF meetings, I guess, were still going on up until today. Today was day 7 on the IMF meetings. Tomorrow, nothing is on the Forex Factory calendar for tomorrow, which don't fall for that. Something I'm sure is going to be there tomorrow. It's not a holiday or anything. Something's going to be there. Tuesday, we've got goods trades balance, preliminary wholesale inventory, S&P CS composite HPI. That's at 9 o'clock. I think this is housing price index is HPI. 10 o'clock is JOLTS job openings. This is Tuesday, red folder. CB consumer confidence and API weekly statistical bulletin is Tuesday at 4:30. Wednesday, 8:15 before market opens. We've got a red folder, ADP non-farm employment change. Advanced GDP, the gross domestic product, quarter over quarter, employment cost index, quarter over quarter, advanced GDP price index, quarter over quarter. That's all 8:30 on Wednesday before market opens there too, right? 9:45 Chicago PMI, yellow folder. 10 o'clock, we've got core PCE price index, another red folder. These two things are going to potentially give us a good little bit of volatility on Wednesday morning. Pending home sales, personal income, personal spending. Crude oil really is an orange folder. That's all Wednesday. Thursday, we've got Challenger job cuts, unemployment claims, 8:30, again, before market opens. That's 3 days we've got before market open stuff. Final manufacturing PMI at 9:45, like right after the market opens. ISM manufacturing PMI, manufacturing prices, 10 o'clock. Ward's total vehicle sales, 10:30 natural gas stores. Those are yellows, but we've got some reds before the market opens. Good. And Friday, before the market opens again, we've got something else that's going to be before market opens, some more red folders. All right. So we've got red folders 4 days this week. Nothing at this point is set to happen on Monday. But again, you already know how that goes. Yep. Hey, Will, and hey, Tanya. That we know how that goes, right? 4 days of red folders. Monday says it's nothing, but we'll see what happens there. We'll see. A boost to confidence. Trump pivots as trade negotiations drag on. Experts say Trump stepped in as the perceived market stabilizer. A sign the White House is paying attention to recent volatility. Okay. Trump cabinet members clash on tariffs talks with China. Millennials are giving Gen Z advice for their first potential recession. Treasury markets New World Order brings fear of the long bond. Saudi Arabia and Qatar to pay back Syria's debt to the World Bank. Oh, isn't that nice? Why vaccine makers aren't worried about Trump administration cuts. I went to get my medicine yesterday at Sam's, and the girl at Sam's, she's like, you have some vaccines that you or some immunizations that you haven't gotten. And I was like which ones? And she said, well, the pneumonia one. I was like, okay. And then she said the shingles vaccine, you're supposed to get it after you turn 50. And I said, okay. And then she said there was one more. So she said, well, do you want to get them while you're here? I was like, no. I tried not to make faces at the chick. I was like, no. And first of all, it took me a long time to get, well, and this is probably why I probably should consider the shingles one. If y'all have had shingles in the comments, maybe somebody can say something to me. If y'all have had shingles in the comments, talk to me about it. But I had chicken pox, but I had chicken pox in college. Like I got chicken pox as a college student, which was weird in itself. Because I was like, I still have the scar actually. I had one circle that started itching like in the middle of my head. I still have the scar in here somewhere. And it started itching like right here. And I was doing it. And then went to the doctor on campus and was like, I have this thing here in the middle of my head. And they were like, yeah, you got chicken pox. And they quarantined quarantined me for a week because I had chickenpox. But I was 20, maybe 19 to 20 years old. Most people had chickenpox long before that. After you turn 50, you should get the shingles. I guess it's a vaccine. Yeah, vaccine. So that because shingles will be so much worse than chickenpox. And I was like, so she was like, you think about it? You want to get it? And I was like, no. So I said, I'll think about it. I'll think about it. But pneumonia, I've never had pneumonia. I probably should knock on wood, but I've never had that. And there was one more she said. I never take the flu thingy. But what was the other one she mentioned? Shingles, pneumonia, and one other. I was like, maybe y'all can tell me some stuff in the comments. Maybe y'all know anybody who ever has had it. Let me know, because I'll consider it. I got the COVID vaccine and stuff, and I got the booster, and I was fine with that. But I got that just because I wanted to still be able to travel. I lived out of the country, so I got it because I needed to be able to travel, and because I lived in another country, they didn't make it optional. I didn't have a problem with what was in it, but I just felt like the stuff that now there's some more things. I'm like, I don't know if I want more stuff, and if I don't have to have it, like, why should I get it? That's kind of where I'm at with that. So anyway, that was definitely a detour. But Tanya says, I took the vaccine because everybody I know that had shingles made it sound like something I never want. Okay. Now I don't like being sick, and I don't get sick often, but I'm not getting a new Rona booster. I'm not doing that, but I will consider the shingles one because I have heard about the shingles piece. That's probably the only of the ones that she mentioned. That's probably the one I would consider. Pneumonia. I just kind of feel like how's there a vaccine against pneumonia? Isn't pneumonia like where your lungs fill up with fluid or whatever? How's there a virus? I mean, how's there a vaccine for that? It's not like it's like smallpox. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not a doctor. I'm an engineer. So that, if I get the SPX Playbook, can I take trades by myself? Yes, you can. If you get the SPX Playbook, you can take trades by yourself. And if you get the SPX Playbook, you also have access to the SPX Playbook Telegram that I have. So if you get that SPX Playbook, you have access to that Telegram group. You do. I would still suggest that you strongly consider joining the membership, just because there's another level of assistance that you get in the membership. And I'm not suggesting it just so you can pay $97 a month, but I am suggesting it because I know that you'll benefit from it. All right. Me neither. Frank says, me neither. I told my manager she would need a new nurse if the hospital mandated it. I mean, I didn't feel like I was being pushed into it, but I just was like, Shingles is a series of 2 shots. She said it was 1 shot. And I asked her what were the side effects of the vaccine. And she said it was just a sore arm. And I was like, right. Because when you get the flu shot, usually you feel sick and you feel like you get the flu. And I was like, well, what happens with the shingles virus? Am I going to feel some results? She's like, no, just a sore arm. I was like, yeah, you're supposed to say that. Anyway, plane tickets are getting cheaper as domestic travel demand weakens, which is cool because I got some stuff out with some places I want to go on my little 6-week break. So maybe I'll go look for some places to go during my 6 weeks. Tourism to the U.S. slumps, but Americans can't stop traveling overseas. Yeah, we want to go see other places. And if we can go, why not? American Airlines withdraws 2025 forecast on murky economic outlook. Trump's approval ratings fall as he nears 100 days in office. Rubio says the coming week is very critical in the Russia-Ukraine war negotiation. Okay. All right. That's what's over in the CNBC. Let's go look at, we already looked at those. That's what I have made that bigger. I want to look at what our charts did last week. I'm going to go to our earnings here in a minute. She said that shingles was only 1 shot, Jose. That's what she said. This is the weekly chart, and during the week, this big green candle was last week. Remember before we were talking about SPX being an inside week. Last week, we talked about that. I don't know if we talked about it on here or inside my membership, but we talked about it being an inside week. Inside week being it was inside the previous week's candle. So this candle was a 2 candle, and this is a 1. A 1 candle is inside of its previous week. But this week is a 3, which means it's outside of the top and outside of the bottom of this candle. So it's called what some would call a mother candle. Now we need to see which way we're going, right? Which way we going? We got a 1, 3. Which way are we going? 1, 3, 2 up, 1, 3, 2 down. Which way are we going? Looks like, though, according to, if we were looking at charting technical analysis, looks like we've set ourselves up for some upwards movement. This gray area you see on my chart is a gap that does need to be filled. SPX is going to want to fill that gap because it likes to do that. Whether it does it, this week or in short order, don't know. But SPX likes to fill its gaps. There's that. All right. Let's go look at the daily. How did SPX perform on the daily charts of each day of the week? And we see here, I made this really big so everybody can see. There was a gap between the 15th and the 16th, but that gap was filled on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So I can actually take it off of our chart because price action filled that gap. And the gap that I showed you was here from the 2nd to the 3rd actually is partially filled. It got partially filled by Friday's price action. So I'm going to adjust it to show us what is left of this gap. And it looks like there's still area left, 55.25 all the way up to 56.73. So that's another 150 points of price action that is still required. Now, SPX can run 150 points without much issue, but it's still there. Here's a gap here between close of this, open of that, pull off. There's another gap here that is below us that needs to be filled. This is all on SPX we're looking at. There's a gap there that will need a filling. Okay. We basically closed the week off at 55.25. I think that's 55.25. Close 55.25 is where we closed the week. I was talking the other day about how 2 weeks ago we were down in the 51s. Real low, thinking that the sky was falling, and here we are back in the 55s again. No, didn't waste no time. Hey, Mama Net, and hey, Denise, didn't waste any time getting back up here. All right, that's what SPX did. SPY is going to look very similar to that as far as charts go. SPY will look very similar. Let's put our gap, our gap little identification back on here. And we've got one over here that needs to be identified. Okay, again, gap is between there's a gap above and a gap below. I didn't come on here to chart, so let me keep going. Let me keep pushing. This ain't a charting call. This is a what did they do last week call. We do charting inside the membership. After this, we do our charting call. That's inside of my membership. So for those of you who want to see that, that's where you need to be. We closed SPY last week at 550.64. 550.64 is where we closed SPY. Triple Q. We closed the week at 472.56. This gap here in the middle actually closed up. Yep. Is there a little bit of a gap over here? Yes, there is. Again, I'm not here to chart. I didn't come here to chart. Just looking at some stuff. Triple Q closed at 472.56. It's on an upwards move again, too. We're still in bearish territory with these because our moving averages still show us bearish, but we've hit a support and we're recovering, if you want to call it that. We've come on back up from our lows, which was down here in the 400, 408. It's flying around in here. What we doing? In the 400s, 408 area, and it has been coming on up ever since then. Moving averages are turning up. They still haven't crossed over, but they went flat, and now this 9-day period is turning upwards, looking like we're ready to cross over, baby. Let's look at IWM. IWM, another one. See how it's coming up and ready to cross over as well. Let me remove, because when I have too many things on here, too many things to see. I don't like it when I have to see too much stuff. Like, nope, that gets to be too many things to look at. IWM closed at 194. It's doing the same thing that SPY and Triple Q is doing, just recovering. It's recovering. Yes, it is. Had some gaps up here that was needing to be refilled, just like the others. And looks like we filled some of the gap. Still got a little bit left. All the way up to 202 is a gap. Gap goes from the close of one candle to the open of the next candle, and it moves away off of price action. So we've had subsequent price action that would show some of this gap has been filled. All right. We do have another one down here. Close of one candle, open of the other, which would be up here. But we've had price action that brought us down. So really, this gap that's what's left of it. That's what's left of that gap. Okay. That is IWM. Close at 194.12 with a gap above it. And it seems to be marching. Moving averages have turned up. The 9 and the 20 have both turned up. We're still below the 50 period moving average, which is coming down into the gap. The 100 and 200 are both up here. But we'll see how they do when they come on up and run into this 50. Let's see how it responds when it comes up and runs into the 50. Okay, let's go look at earnings. Let's go look at some earnings. Earnings on Monday. Let me show the date, April 28th. Thank you, Earnings Whispers, for our graphic. We love that you provide this for us every week. It doesn't include everything, but it includes all the majors. So we'll take it. All right, we'll take it. On Monday morning, we got Domino's Pizza, MGM Resorts, Opera, FEMSA, Roper Technologies, Bank United, Bank of Marin, Revity, CMEX, and Alliance. Monday after close, we've got Waste Management, NXP, F5 or 5 Below, Nucor, Teradyne, Welltower, Ameris Bank, Amcor Technology, Transocean, and Rambus. Tuesday morning before open, ding, 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 my darling is having earnings. SoFi, love of mine. Ooh, yeah, SoFi has earnings Tuesday morning. SoFi, it needs to pop on and run. We're ready. We've been ready, SoFi. We've been ready for you to go on and do your good work. SoFi, PayPal is also Tuesday morning. UPS, JetBlue, Royal Caribbean, Coca-Cola, Pfizer, Spotify, Altria, and Shift4 Payments. Tuesday after close, Visa, Starbucks, Snap, First Solar, PPG, Booking Holdings, QORVO or Corvo, One OK, Tetra, and New Gold. Wednesday before the market opens, we've got Humana, Caterpillar, Vulcan Materials Company, Western Digital, International Paper, Generac, the people who do generators, Scott's Miracle-Gro, Gene DX, Hess, and Etsy. That's all Wednesday before market opens. Then we've got some that are anticipated. Maybe this is why Microsoft went so crazy this week. Our Microsoft trade got breached. Microsoft been sitting still, been just chilling all these weeks. All of a sudden, last week, Microsoft decided it was ready to get on the horse. And our call credit spread was breached. But they have earnings on Wednesday after market closes. Part of the MAG, I guess. Meta is here. Robinhood, Qualcomm, Green Brick, Albemarle, Annalee, CP, Pilgrims, and Sprouts Farmers Market. I actually like the Sprouts store. Thursday morning before market opens, we've got Eli Lilly, Roblox, CVS, McDonald's, maybe another one that moved this week. I mean, we made money off McDonald's though. On one side, did our call credit spread got breached. Sirius, MasterCard, Baxter. That may be something we think about in our with our trading. that maybe for those in my community too, that we think about when we're trading these things, if they're 1 week out from earnings, even though we don't trade in the same week, maybe we don't trade 1 week out because they start moving, people start, buying or whatever, getting positioned. Maybe we don't trade 1 week out either. MasterCard, Baxter, Builders, First Source, Moderna, and Quanta. Thursday after market closes, we've got Amazon, Apple, Riot, Reddit, Airbnb, Big Bear, AI. Well, that's another one we need to keep it moving. Atlassian, Twilio, Roku, and AIG. Friday morning before the market opens, we've got Fubo, ExxonMobil, AES, Chevron, Apollo, Brookfield, Cigna, Magna, Brookfield. Why is Brookfield twice, you think? Oh, there's BLP, BEP, and BBU. Maybe. Oh, this is Brookfield Business Partners, and that's just Brookfield. And then down here we've got American Axle and Manufacturing, AXL. All right, that's our earnings. I'm sure that's not everybody. Okay, other people will have earnings this week, but these are the ones that are, I guess, notable and anticipated. All right. That's what we got for earnings. Okay. Well, let's go talk about what else happened last week. Well, our trades last week, our trades list last week anyway, our trades list last week went 6 for 7. 6 of the 7 trades were profitable. Our gold McDonald's, if we had just done the put credit spread, we actually did the put credit spread and the call credit spread, and we ended up getting breached on the call credit spread side, but we made money on the put credit spread side. Call credit spread, Cisco, DIA, Home Depot, Johnson & Johnson, and Microsoft. We also traded Microsoft. We traded it as an iron condor. We did call credit spread and put credit spread. Our put credit spread was fine, right? Because Microsoft went up so much, our call credit spread got breached. That's the only trade on here that was not profitable. So we made money on the other side, on the put credit spread side, and we got breached on the call credit spread side. We did make money to overreach that, I believe almost everybody did with their SPX stuff. But me included, I don't ever call out trades in my community that I don't take. If I call the trade out, then I'm in that same trade. I don't mention trades and be like, y'all got it. No, if I send out a trade alert, I'm also in that same trade. So if it goes well, we all go well. If it goes not so well, then it goes not so well for me too. All right, we do it the same way. I do it the same thing y'all do. Okay, same thing my folks do. I'm in the same trades. So now my SPX, speaking of which, SPX for the week, how did that look for the week? Woo woo. Hey, now, what you say now? This was my results for the week on my SPX. My SPX trades for last week. Last week. 43.69 was my results for last week. Yes, I'm in the trenches with y'all. I don't be out here looking at y'all going, y'all all right down there? No, I'm down there too. We all in this. We're in this together, right? These were my results from last week. It was my final week of trading. Final week of teaching. No, not my final week of trading. Oh, no. This was my final week of teaching at the university. We're ready for a little summer break. I get 6 weeks off before I teach the second half of summer school. So I get a few weeks off. Well, we have finals next week. This week, tomorrow, we have finals starting Tuesday, actually, for me. And so I'll have to go for a couple days, but we're doing finals. Yeah, I'm the general. So, yep, this is how last week went for me. And a lot of people in my community made money last week. If you follow me on social media, and hopefully you follow me in all the places on social media, you can see that I put out, results of some of our members. I don't put the names there. I don't want anybody to protect the innocent and the guilty, I guess. And while I'm mentioning that, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and, hit the notification bell, hit the thumb up, all the stuff you're supposed to do when you're on YouTube. Go ahead and do all that. Follow me in all the places. Go come over there and say, oh, hey, you're here on Twitter. Yep. You're over here on Threads. Yep. Yep, I'm in all the places. Go ahead. But this is what SPX 0DTE is doing. That's what we did last week. And every week it seems to get better and better. If you've been following along, every week you see that it gets to be more and more. All right. This is our list for this week. Only call credit spreads this week. And we're going to look to see, we don't may or may not take all these, because some of these, like we just talked about, IWM is starting to recover. So we want to make sure that we're not standing in front of a train that's starting to get a little steam going up. But according to the moving averages, we are still in the bearish space. But we got to look at the chart to make sure that overall in the chart, these are still good strikes and these are still good places. So that's what we do as a membership, though. We look at the charts together, we trade together, we decide, are we doing this? Are we doing this? No. That's what we do. That's how we work it. Oh, well, let me go back because I didn't talk about which ones. DIA, Home Depot, IBM, IWM, Pepsi, and SPY. We got what, 6 trades? The list is smaller because first of all, I don't want us to have a super long list and then have so many things you can't pick. And I want to make sure that you have a good list that you can, a good quality list. I want you to have a good quality list. 6 things to look at if you decide you want to trade them. There you are. What do we do in our group? We trade credit spreads, weekly credit spreads, daily SPX spreads, cash secure puts, and covered calls. These are the 4 things that we do in our community because we're sellers. We're option sellers, right? We're option sellers. Those are the things that we do. What we do. All right. Chart your way to 100K is an area that we want to improve and increase our ability to look at the chart. Remember, I was just saying, we go look at those charts to see if the chart matches up with the fact that we are bearish according to the moving averages, but does the chart really support a bearish trade? And that, you know how we know that? Because we can look at the chart and do some technical analysis inside that chart. And if that's not something that you're comfortable doing, you need to be checking out Chart Your Way to 100K. It's a resource I created because I know that there are people who are out here in these streets trading and don't know how to chart or how to analyze what they're looking at. And that is a recipe for issues, right? You might have some short-term success. I did short-term success. But if you're trying to go long-term with this skill and you're trying to put some weight behind your trades, if you're getting one trade, one contract here, a few things here, that's fine. But when you start putting on 10 contracts and 100 contracts, you need to know that your stuff is going in the right direction. You don't want to put on 100 contracts only to find out you had the direction wrong. No, you don't want to put on 10 and find out you got the direction wrong. No, and you need to be able to analyze what you're looking at. And you can do that with Chart Your Way to 100K. All right. Please come over to LinkedIn and come and join me over there. LinkedIn.com. I'm putting the link in the chat. Company/educator. Now, I've said this before, that the vibe is different over on LinkedIn. Okay, the vibe is different over there. A lot more educational. Yeah, the vibe is just different over on LinkedIn. Come over and join me over on LinkedIn. I'm gonna share my LinkedIn screen. Let me see where we are. I gotta stop this one and then add this one. Yep, this is my LinkedIn page. Educator to trader. All right, I probably should have it view as a member, so you can view as somebody who's watching it. Come over there and take a look at what we got going over here on LinkedIn. Come join me. Y'all see I only got 20 followers. I need some more people over here. Y'all don't leave me over here hanging out by myself. I put an article out. I actually also sent the article to my email list about Serve Robotics. I see a lot of positive things with that company. Just something for you to look into. Again, not investment advice. But there's a note here I put on. Most traders don't fail because of strategy. They fail because of inconsistency. And inconsistency is almost always rooted in identity. Trying to figure out who you are. Thank you, Denise. I have people who come into my community and they're trading as a seller, but then periodically they're jumping back and forth to buying. And one of the things you're going to need to discover pretty early on in this trading journey is what kind of trader are you? What kind of trade? Now, I'm not saying you can't do both, because you can, but there's a different mindset when you're trading as a buyer and trading as a seller. And you have to decide. Sometimes you have to just pick a lane. I got to pick a lane and ride with the lane I pick, right? So if you don't know who you are, what kind of trader are you? Are you an aggressive trader? Are you a conservative trader? Are you a buyer or a seller? Are you somebody who's a dividend purchaser? Are you a buy and hold? Are you, all the questions. What are you? And you need to know that. And when you do know what and who you are as a trader, you can lean in to that strategy. You can lean into that much easier if you know who you are. Thanks, Will. Will said, I just hit you on LinkedIn following. I appreciate that. Thank you, Denise. I appreciate that from both of you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, let me see what's on the next slide here. I think it was let me get the name right. I want to make sure I say the name right. Aritra asked about the SPX Playbook. SPXplaybook.com. It's the strategy that can be used generally in the afternoon. We actually went through and refreshed our minds on how to run the SPX Playbook in our community. Like, how do we pull out trades in the afternoon, 2:30, 3 o'clock? What do we do when we want to put on trades in just that last hour or hour and a half? We went through this. SPX Playbook, you can grab you a copy of that over at spxplaybook.com. 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 All right, go and grab you a copy of that. It's $27 if you want to grab that. How do you use SPX to pull profits every single day? Every single day. All right, that's what we're doing. That just showed you a graphic. We've got a mixture of a couple of strategies, but one of those includes the SPX Playbook. If you see this and you're like, okay, I don't need all that membership stuff, I just really want the strategies, then there you go. At my website, you can grab hold of all the strategies. Okay, I believe I'm wrapping up. E2T Freebies, for those who just looking for some free resources, which is fine. That's a good way to be introduced to me, besides just hanging out with me on YouTube. E2T-freebies.com. I got some stuff over there. Maybe I'll take some time during my summer break and create some more resources that can go over here in the E2T Freebies area. Yep, I got a whole list of videos I want to record and put up. I already put my editor on notice. Y'all know my editor. I already put my editor on notice that we getting ready to record some videos. I've been busy and hadn't really recorded any videos, but that's been the change. I got some videos I want to record, and we get ready to put some more stuff back out. Some more topic-based videos, not just our lives. Okay, I had asked if there was any Q&A questions. I think we had one or two. If there are any, you all can put them in the chat quickly. We probably got about 5 to 8 minutes, and I'm gonna land the plane. If you got any Q&A questions, you can go ahead and put them into the chat. Put them into the chat. We got a good week up and coming. We're going to see, got a lot of red folders coming this week. So we're going to see what that includes. A lot of earnings. The Mag 7s are starting to do earnings. That's going to cause us some volatility, cause us to give some movement. We said we had Meta, Microsoft, we had Google, Amazon is going to be this week. It's going to be some movement. Riot is coming this week. That means we got some cryptos going to be coming in there. SoFi, PayPal is coming this week. So we got some money happening. It's going to be interesting. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to what the market has on. And these are the times, I'm going to say this, okay? These are the times when you need to have somebody who's guiding you in these streets where our VIX is crazy. We got a lot of volatility, lots happening. This is not the place for you to be trying to lone soldier it unless you really got some experience. Otherwise, you need to be riding along with somebody who at least can ride with you and provide some guidance. All right. This is not the time to be saying, I got this. Ride with somebody. All right. Ride. This is not independent VO. Ride with somebody. All righty. Well, I'm going to wrap us up. Those of you who are in my community, I will see you at 6 o'clock. We're going to do our charting call at 6. The others of you, I will see you tomorrow morning at 8:45. We'll be live with our pre-market prep at 8:45. All right. I will see you all in the market. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.